Mhm. Okay, so welcome all. This is what 106th RBC Open discussion, and from the beginning of the new year, we started spending most of our time with Power Automate. So last week after our discussion, I had a deep discussion with one of my ex-colleague, John Long, talking about that. Yes, Power Automate looks great, but how you ship it, how you actually build a automate flow and then sell it to your customers or ship it on their behalf. So we were trying exploring things and all, and then we found out something. I thought that's interesting that in future, if anyone else would like to ship the a custom solution with Power Automate, let's explore how to do it with a very simple example today. And then if there are some questions, we'll go through them. So let's go through the normals. People who are watching the recording later, they would like to be here on these meetings, you go to this link and register for the next week BC Open discussion. This page normally gets updated by tomorrow, Sunday. Yeah, so you can always go and do that. So I'll open the older slide that we were visiting a few weeks ago, where we did talk about some of the enhancement on Power Automate in BC21, how you enable it as a feature. Is there is a privacy notice status where administrator can enable or disable it for all the users. At the same time, users can disable it for themselves or not enable it for themselves if not needed. And on top of it, there is a permission set also added in Business Central, based on which you can hide those actions on the users where you don't assign those permissions. And the permission set that was added in Business Central 21 is called Automate Execute. So if you don't assign this permission, the users will not be able to see the Power Automate action on their pages in Business Central. But while doing that, and let's go back. As I was saying earlier, I was playing with it just for fun with one of my ex-colleague, and we were talking about it, that how you do certain things. And as we are developers, we started thinking about, if I can move a flow action that I have defined on a page, like we did add this action on the customer card last time, or meeting before that, I guess, where it'll show me all the Power Automate actions that I have added for the customers, either from here or from the Power Automate portal. Still loading. So it's taking a little bit of time. Let's see. Did it get loaded? So we started thinking about, if I can, and we tried that I can personalize this and I can move this item from here and keep it promoted so that my users don't have to go and search for it. So instead of doing that, what I did is I went into, why don't I see design? Hmm, am I doing something wrong? Or is my permission missing? Yeah, like I can move it here somewhere, wherever I want it, I guess. I was able to last week when we did that. Hmm. Yeah. So when you can move that like this, it'll always be available here, but then it makes it easier for my users to kind of not to navigate into the menu and get into this. And on this environment, I can't get into design mode, maybe permissions. I was playing with some permissions and all. But at the same time, what Microsoft added in BC21, they added a new action type for AL, and that action type is called custom action. And that is used to define actions on page which are not the Business Central actions. So let's quickly have a look. Let me open my VS Code and see what I mean by that. So Let's do AL Go, and let's say Power Automate demo 10. Okay. Okay. Oh, sorry. I created the wrong configuration. Let me add a configuration to Cloud Sandbox. And hopefully my sandbox is updated, created. Yes, it's created. Let me download the symbols from there. And anytime there is a question, let me know. But this is pretty basic stuff right now, what you're doing. So what happens now in Business Central, if you have to add a custom action into your page, which is a Power Automate action from code, you can do it either on the page or on the page extension. There's some specific properties of those kind of actions that need to be added. So we'll quickly go through because that'll help in our rest of the discussion. So let's assume this is our extension page or page extension on the customer list. Let's keep it as it is. And let's try to add an action into it, into the action area. So here I can define actions. Let's say at last into my process sync group. Okay. And then instead of doing a T action, which we always do, you need to start typing T custom action. This is the action, custom action, that will refer to an action which is not a typical business central action, but will allow you to define the actions which will execute something outside business central. So let's say I guess we had a Power Automate flow build last time. Let me take the same example, but that'll be easier. Okay, let's go in here, and we did create these different views. So let's take my test and let's assume that I would like to call this in my business central using the custom action. Now what this does, I guess I do remember that it just sends out an email and create a channel. Okay, something like that. So if I have to add this flow into my business central, what I can do is using custom action. I can say this is my test Power Automate action. And as any other action properties will be there, you can define all those properties. One major property that right now is limited to a default is always set to a default value, which is custom action type, which as of today, there is only one option to it, which is flow. But as I was reading about it, Microsoft have planned to add other options into it. So I'd highly encourage if you do that, make sure that you define it specifically for flow, that even if tomorrow there are new options added and the flow is not the default value, then you don't end up into issues. So always define that property that it is a flow type of action. The application area property remains same. As per Microsoft documentation, you should always add a caption. Now, it's not a business central action caption if you compare it from a action caption that you will do. It's a caption that will be visible in case the flow has been deleted or in case user does not have permission to execute that flow, because then it cannot interact with the flow engine to get the flow name as the caption. So whatever caption you define, you'll never see it on your business center. The caption that you'll see will come from the Microsoft flow. But if one of the user who is trying to use it does not have permission to execute the flow, he will see, or he or she will see the caption as welcome to customer flow or something like that. But by default, you will not see it. The other properties you can set dynamically, which is visible, enable, all those properties are available. But then to make sure that it connects to your flow, there are some specific properties for this. One is flow ID, which is a GUID for that flow. So every flow gets a unique GUID about itself. So when you look into the URL of the flow that you are in, like in this case, this, the first one is the environment URL, and then the second one is your, oh, sorry, GUID, and the second one is your flow GUID. So this is the unique GUID for this particular flow where we are in. So you just need to copy this and then paste it here. That becomes your flow ID. And then the next property, which is only required if you are building a flow internally, if you want to static it to one particular environment. If you specify this, then you can't kind of sell this extension or give this extension to your customer, because that they will have a different environment ID, flow environment, based on your Azure environment. And it's not mandatory, you can skip it, and we'll talk about it how that works. But let's remove this. So at this moment on my sandbox environment, there are no actions right now on this, I guess. Let me see. And as soon as I publish this, because the flow is also available in the same tenant as Business Central is, it will be able to map the environment with the flow and will be able to show you that particular action in your Business Central customer list page as we are adding it. Let's see. So at this point, if I go, I don't see anything on the process, which is empty, because this is just a fresh environment which I created right now. There are flows based on environment is fetching all of those which are there, but it's not available in here. Now, as we are talking about this, there is one more change that I've introduced in Business Central 21, which is around how you promote an action or how you make something promoted. So if you go into Business Central and any customer, any base Microsoft page, and search for action ref, I guess, yes. So in each of the, or most of the pages from Microsoft right now, you will see that there is a new area that's being added called promoted, and all the action that you want to promote, you have to put those actions here in this area. So like this is a action somewhere in this page. Let's search for it. Here's the action. There are no promoted properties into it. There's just application area, custom image, and other basic properties. To promote it, you'll have to put it something like this, an action reference to the action and then the name of that action reference, and put it under a area called promoted. So if I have to promote this action, I'll also have to add it inside this area. So what I'll have to do is I'll have to do at last on, I, I can search on processing promoted category process form. What is that called? Category process, this group. And then inside that, I can add an action reference. So what the action reference is called? It's called, let's say this as promoted, and the name of that action. It'll automatically link that this action is already added here and will promote it into the last of the process group, which is after apply template action. And that is same for all different kind of actions that you have. I'm not just doing it for my action. It's kind of default for all the actions from Microsoft as of today. So let's publish this and let's see what comes into my Business Central environment. Okay. This should get published and I should see that action after the apply template here to be able to run the flow from Business Central using the custom actions that I have added when I've defined the flow ID. But then once it gets published, now let's think about how you can actually bake it in an extension and share it with your customers. Because this is my environment where I'm doing, so it'll understand what my test is and it'll go ahead and execute the action. So if I do my test, it'll understand that I'm trying to run one of the flow which I have defined in my Power Automate flow window. We'll check, do I have the right permissions or not? We'll do the connections and then I can just run the flow. So as I run it, it should be running here, and whatever that is supposed to be doing, that will do that. It failed right now for some reason because maybe I was modifying this or something. Let me see what happened. Okay, it says I didn't find the customer. Now, does anybody know why this happened? This was working last week, and now it failed. And it says I did not find the company that you're looking for.
IDs
Let's
have
go
been
back.
changed or something.
Yeah, so let's go this way. Let's try to edit this and see what happened. We said get a record from which environment? Called my trial. From where we are running it is sandbox. So these are two different environment and the each record have a unique GUID. Even the 50,000 customer is there will be a different GUID for this. So it is trying to find that customer from where we click that action on my sandbox. But the Power Automate is very hard coded to say that go to my trial company Cronus USA and then find that record and then move forward from there. Now that limits us from the flow side, that how you do that. So we'll try to tackle this in today's session and then try to understand it. Before we do anything, to ship your flow as an extension, as a part of your extension, as a separate entity for sure, because it's not part of AL code, you should not be creating flows from this area, which is called my flows. You should always go into your solutions area. Here, you create solutions that you can export out and then send it to someone else. Like I'll create a flow and I can send it to all of you. You can just deploy it and it'll understand that you have a business central environment and then it'll re-authenticate you as a user so that you can actually configure it on your environment. So what you are going to do is you are going to create a new solution and that solution is called, let's say, easy open discussion solution. And then I need to select a publisher. I have one created for myself, but you can define your publishers here. There's an area where you can define publisher, your version of this solution that you're building, and then there are other options if you have to do that. Let's create that. And we'll try to mimic the flow that we have created earlier. So let me go back to my flow window if I can. Okay, let me go back and tap this here so that I can see it here. Okay, coming back to solutions, I have already created a solution called BC Open Discussion. Open it. There's nothing at this point, but you can either create a new one, add an existing one. There are some limitations on the add an existing one. So we'll just quickly mimic this flow as it is. So let me try to pin this if I can. Okay, and I'll keep the other one, which is here as it is. What we'll do is we'll create a flow and I'll say, is there a flow which is automated? So automated is something that runs on some triggers, like what we talked about in the past, like when a record gets modified, when a record get inserted, when a record get deleted. So those are automated flow. And then there are schedule where you schedule them on time, and then there are what was the other one, the instant, which executes when you click on them. So let's create an instant one, and we are trying to mimic. Let's do this one, which should be easy one. We'll not get into the same step what we went last time. We'll just try to send an email from it to understand how you build it. So the flow name is called, let's say, new customers. And let's skip this. Let's come here. And here I'll select my favorite connector, which is Business Central. Now this is my Business Central. Now in Business Central, the first thing that you see here is a for a selected record. Now that's an kind of an event. If I say it in the AL language, I'll choose the same event for a selected record. Now, as we were talking about this kind of flow last time, which you create from your Business Central using the wizard in your Business Central saying, I would like to create a flow. And then it gives you this option by default selected. But for a selected record gives you some options, and let's go through them. The first one is environment name. And if you read it, it says optional. You don't have to define it. The second one is company name, optional. So you don't actually have to define it because it's an optional parameter. The third one is page or table, where you actually like that action to be added. So let's do this page 22, and you can add multiple. I guess the style is comma separated if I'm not wrong. Let me see. Okay, without space. Page 22. Does anybody remembers the vendor list? Or do I need to go and check? What is the page ID for this? Okay, the page ID for this is 27. Okay, so let's add it on page 27. So what are the objects that you specify here? This action will automatically get added into those pages in your Business Central environment. Now let's add a new step. What is the next step here? Get the record. So let's do a get record. Oh, not directly with Business Central, I guess. Let's choose Business Central and then do a get record. Now, what does get record says? Choose a environment. Now, if you remember, I have kept these empty, but the assumption is not the assumption, but the way it executes is somebody will click on this action from page 22 or 27. When they will click on it, the flow will get triggered and it will know which environment it is coming from and which company it is coming from. So you can have 5 sandboxes to production if you are paid for it, but it doesn't matter. You don't have to statically define which environment you want to run the flow to. So you can say, you need environment name. I'll not choose it. I'll do a custom value. What is my custom value? My custom value that is coming from my parent is environment name. So I'll say, take the environment name where user have clicked on this button. Done. What is my company name? Again, why should I limit my company name and hard code it? So I'll say pick the company again coming from the parent, which is my company ID. So at this point, I have made this generic so that anytime in any of my environment, somebody clicks on this action on these pages where I've added it, it will automatically understand that, oh, the environment is not sandbox, it's BC open discussion, and the company is not A, company is B. and it'll run that generically because that action has been defined in that way. But while you are building it, the compiler or the behind the scene, the flow automate compiler that's there does not understand where you're targeting. So it does not have a schema of your business central. So for the first time, while you're developing this, and we'll change it in a while, but I'll hard code it to something. Let's say, let me choose VC open discussion here. Let me choose a company here so that it understands that there are APIs. Okay, there are APIs. And then, but this is static. So as we added on customer and vendor, I can't do that. I should only be doing it on customer because the endpoint, if you are making a new endpoint, API endpoint for you, that's sure you can do that. But if I'm using the standard Microsoft API, then I'll have to limit it to one particular entity because Microsoft exposes the entity separately. And then the row ID remains same, which is my system ID. So at this point, my flow knows that, okay, these are the APIs that are available. They will be common to all my environment because I'm building them. So now I can go ahead and say, okay, I don't need you, or saving this, and I can change it to the variables that it is coming from. I can say environment name here, change this and change this to custom value and say company ID. It seems uncompiled for you right now, but it will work. Let's now just try to send an email to make sure that it's working and so on and so forth. So what I'm saying is I'm saying what send an email. Let's pick this V2 and then it'll connect to my Outlook. I'll try to connect to that. Okay, let me try. Okay, it's connected. Just to keep it simple, I'll send it to myself because it's not the demo about the flow because we have talked about it in the past. And I'll say the subject will be the environment name and then the company ID so that I can see test it out on different pages and then test it out. And here, as we talked in the past, you can say hi and whatever your fields are. And let me collapse this so that this gets me a dynamic view. Yeah. So now I should be able to select whatever the fields are there. Okay, this is a demo email. So I've said this. Now what should happen is as I run this from any environment at this point, it should be sending me the environment and the company name on top. And then I should be able to get an email. So let's save this. And then let's change its name. Okay. This is called, let's say solution demo. Okay. Save. As we are doing this, we have created it. We haven't ran it or anything yet, but I would like to go back into my solution. Where is that solution demo? It already created some connection files to my Office 365 and my Business Central environment. When I come here, I should be getting my flow ID. Okay, this is a long string, so let me copy this and paste it into Notepad so that we can get the flow ID and we will add that flow using an action ref that we have created. So this is my environment ID, this is my solution ID, and this becomes my flow ID. And let me zoom this in if it is not visible. The three parts of it because now it's a part of solution. So the first one is environment, second is the solution ID, and the last one is the flow ID. So I can just do copy this, go back to my VS code. We were trying to do that and say the ID of the flow that I would like to run is this. So at this point, this action and the action should be called in my business centralized solution demo when I publish this. So let's try to publish this and see what happens in the central sandbox at this point. So based on this ID, it will remember that it's an solution that is already exposed with this ID on my flow environment, and we'll link it and we'll try to run it. And then we'll try to run it from a different environment other than sandbox, because it will point to the sandbox where we are publishing this. Okay. So here we are on our sandbox environment, and inside the process, there is a welcome customer flow because I don't have permission to access this. And why is that? So remember, I will see the caption when I have some problem in my flow. If there are no problem, it will work as it is. So what I'm seeing right now is this caption, which means there is some problem. So let's try to see what's here on the Power Automate. It says solution demo, but it does not say it here. And the reason is because I haven't tested out my flow till now. This just has been created, not yet ran. So for the first time, I'll have to run it from here and say, okay, as in you can test it from Power Automate if needed, but I'll run it from here called solution demo. If everything goes good, it should give me the environment ID. Oh, because it hasn't been authenticated. So now I'm authenticating it, running the flow. If everything goes well, my flow should be running here. Okay, that's taking a long time. Solution demo. And it succeeded. Oh, so if it succeeded, I should have an email, and here's the email. The email says the environment is sandbox and the ID is, or the company keyword is this. Now let's go and switch to a different environment because we are trying to make it generic. So let's get into my BC Open discussion environment and let's try to run it from there, because the action will be there because it's part of the same uh, tenant. If I go here on this customer, let's pick anyone. I should not see it in here for sure because that's part of my extension, but I should always see it here called solution demo. This time when I run it, it should pick my environment as BC Open Discussion, and the company keyword will also change because it's coming from a different company. So let's wait for it. Let's see once it pops up, and here it is. This time it is running for BC Open Discussion for a different keyword, which is the company ID, whereas earlier it ran for Sandbox. The mail remains same, but the environments are changing, and I don't have to change my flow per company wise. Till this part, I guess, are we clear? Or are there any questions till now? I should see it here. No, it's not working. What I did wrong on my BS code. Let me see. Okay, I said it is flow and I said this is the flow ID. Okay, let's test that out in a while. It should work as it is. If I'm not wrong, it's a solution demo. And my flow ID is this, which is correct. That's the same, I guess I have specified. Let me put it, try to see and compare it here. Yeah, looks same. Okay. Now let's understand the second part of the equation. This is how you ship your flow action. But then when you're changing the environment, like if I build this flow and I want to share it with all of you, other than this extension where this action get added, the other thing is you also need this flow, whatever we have built today. So that's where your solution comes into the picture. When you get into solution, Pick your solution. It'll have all your connection info, which is whatever connection your flow needs. In our case, it's a business central connection, Dynamics 365 business central, and this one is Microsoft Office connection, which is required to send an email. And then the last one is my flow. So when you have to kind of uh, s- package this as a solution, what you need to do is, where are the objects in it? Here is the overview of that package, the whole package that I've built. It gives the package name, who built it, what is the version of it, are there any patches run on it or not. You first need to verify that is the solution is doing something wrong or not. So there is a built-in check which validates your flow and your connection info to verify that everything is working fine or not. So this will give you all the details when you run it, and at the end of it'll show you what happened after the checks. If everything looks good, there should not be any errors, and then we'll move to the next step to kind of generate a file out of it. Okay, let's wait for it. And then anyone else have a CDX environment or a test environment where they would like to play with this, I can just share this file. You can try deploying this on your end and test it out that this works that way.
Yeah, sure. I can test that.
Okay.
Wow. But it will take a while. I'm not available next week. So maybe
Oh,
after
so
that I will check.
no, you can just right now go to your Power Automate window in the solution repo, and I'll share the solution right now with you once this check is done.
Yeah,
And you can just
fine.
upload it, and all the settings that are done on this flow will automatically come into your environment, and you'll be able to run it directly from there. So this is an example of
Okay.
how you kind of build solutions for your customers. Okay, so there are no errors found. Everything looks good. At this point, we are ready to export this out. And then if you have made any changes, which we have made recently, you need to publish them. So let's publish that. This is all behind the scene metadata of Power Automate. It's not publishing it on your Business Central or anything. It's just publishing your customization to be downloadable. Consider it like your build process of your AL or VS Code extension. So when you're building it, that's what is happening. It's trying to make sure that everything looks good, all is ready, and a package is ready to be downloaded, which happens after a build process in your VS Code that you get your app file out. In this case, we'll get a zip file, which I can share, and any of my customer, one or more, can just deploy it and it will link to their business central environment while they're adding it. Okay, it does take some time, so, but yeah, in the meantime, I guess I have the same notes here, if I'm not wrong, that we created a flow. We try to add a custom action in business end, which will get deployed as an extension when you are deploying it. And then you ship that extension using the flow. And how you do that, these are the three steps for building an action in Business Center. You define a custom action, which you can define on a page or on a page extension. And then in your Power Automate, you build the solution, you export it, you download it, and then you ship it or send it to your customers. So it's published. Let's move next. You give it a version, and moving to another development environment or source control unmanaged, the solution is moving to a test or a production environment. Hmm, this is new. Can't be changed unless it has customized object. Okay, let's keep it unmanaged just to keep it simple. Okay, so now it's trying to prepare the download for us, and once it is ready, you'll see a pop-up here and then you'll be able to download it and share it with anyone. Now, this is being created in-house on your environment, and then it's something that you can ship to your customers as it gets built. Now, using this deployment or publishing and deploying process on Power Automate and using the custom action in your Visual Studio Code, this is how you ship a Power Automate solutions as far as I was able to read and find out from Microsoft documentation when you are trying to say build different flows for your customer and then send it to them. Now, in a package that we created, you can have one or more flows. So if you want, let's say, a workflow flow or Power Automate workflow flow, a cloud flow or a event flow when it happens, you can all bake them in into one single package. And now my package is ready and I can download it. Once I download it, I'll download the schema of it and let's open that to see what's in there. There are some flows in it. Okay, let's try to open this and see what it is. So it's a, I don't think I'll be able to read this, but it's kind of metadata of your flow that we have built by using Power Automate. But then this gives a way to be shared. And if I give it to Sandeep sir right now, and if Sandeep sir would like to share his screen, we'll be able to see it when when he deploys it. So I'll just put it on chat here so that anyone else who would like to play with it. This is nothing from an extension perspective, but from a fun perspective that see, let me see how why it does not allow me to. Hmm.
It might not allow.
Oh, meetings does not allow that.
If you are outside your domain. So if there are
Okay.
members outside domain,
Okay, Sandeep sir, can you send your email ID on the chat? I'll forward it there
yeah.
so that we all can see it.
Yeah.
Saurabh, one thing.
Yes.
This solution will be, I mean, downloaded on customer side if they have that. I mean, if the user is having this Power Automate license assigned to that, right?
Yeah, to upload this, yes, you need to have that.
Oh,
And one thing, like
platform.
if we are not making the custom action, right? So then also this Power Automate, once we import that in our environment, that solution will be visible on the Power Automate action, right? The base Power Automate action instead of the
Yeah,
custom
yeah,
one.
right. It'll be. But if you would like to go a step forward and place them promoted and all, you can do that. Sandeep sir, you received the email?
Yeah, I'm just checking it if I can.
It should come from
My
post.gmail.com.
yeah, my only worry is that my domain whether it have this you know yeah solution has come. Let me just
Okay.
save it on the desktop. And does it everything has to be on the same domain, right?
As in the Power Automate and Business Central?
Yeah, same tenant.
Yes. Yes.
Uh,
Okay. Otherwise, I
Let
can
me
remove the
see.
solution from here for the demo and we can just upload that what I've shared with you directly here.
I will share my. I will share my
Okay.
screen. Let's see if it works. This is a partner tenant environment.
Okay.
So, um,
Let's
where
go to
should I
this
go?
solution. There should be a. Oh, you don't see the solutions option there.
This is
This
Power
is.
Platform.
Oh, this. Yeah.
Where should I
Let's
go?
click on those four dots on that same on the
Where?
left hand corner, left top. Yeah, and then choose the flow from
Power
there.
flow.
Automate or flow.
Okay.
Automate or flow.
Power
Yeah,
automate,
power
right?
automate. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh-oh. I don't think that they have it right now.
We will buy it. That's it. Don't be a problem. Why? What is this? No.
Okay, let's go
Solutions.
to solutions, and then there should be an action to upload a solution.
Create database.
Oh, so it's nothing has been created yet.
I know. Create my database.
Yeah, this is the whole Power domain, as in Power Platform database,
Yeah.
which will be for Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power BI also uses in some cases. Hmm. Yeah,
How much time will it take?
I don't know. So yeah, I mean that's the same thing as in whatever I was saying, that you can, when Sandeep sir or anyone else will try to
Let
import
me
this.
sit here. Let's do it here. Total data update on my main email. This will work.
Okay. So when you import it, on Avinav, it'll ask you to authenticate yourself against the connections that that solution need. Like in
Right.
this case, the solution need two connections. One is to Business Central and one is to Office 365. So it'll require your authentication first before that package kind of gets into the system. Refresh this sir once, maybe it's created sometime.
It goes back.
All the time. Right?
India. Mm, It doesn't load, sir. I don't know.
Okay.
No,
Let me.
let's leave it. L-
Yeah.
Yeah, here it is. Here, there should be a database.
Um.
In the past, I've created flows here, so it should have
Yep. So it's trying to load all those solutions. Once you are in your solution repo,
import solutions,
import
import
solutions,
solution,
and then get the
desktop.
file. Yes. Now let's
Next,
hit next and try to verify what's coming in is any file has been modified outside and everything looks good. So it's good there. Let's hit next. And here, uh, Abhinav, what I was trying to say is now it is trying to authenticate your Office 365 as well as your Dynamics Business Central. So if you have Business Central, you need to create a connection to your Business Central so that it remembers it. And based on that, it'll remember that, oh, yeah, this flow now interacts to this Business Central environment and so on and so forth.
create.
Okay. So this way, as in we had this problem where we will go and create extensions or flows at least on our customer environment, which is not needed in this scenario. You can just Utilize this. As Sandeep said, I've done.
import.
Import this. It's done. And now if you go to Business Center, if there is an environment which we can see, if not, that's okay. You will see that action on your Business Center environment on customers list page. And if you try to send an email,
So
I'll get an email. Well, that's what I have coded in there. That always an email comes to my Gmail address. So in the same way, when you are kind of building solutions for your customer, don't ask them to have, a login for your Power Automate where you need to go and Mm,
not here.
not here. Which environment you created the connection for? While
Why
you are
did I
what?
selected something? I don't think so. So this was the connection it has created.
Okay, let's go back to the flow window once. Power Automate window.
So
That's it. Sorry.
yeah,
Let's find that BC open discussion solution. And
folders to news, should BC open discussion.
okay, let's see.
I do have a lot of environments, so
Let's click on this solution demo. Everything should be good there. I don't think that there will be a problem.
edit.
You should not. Can you run it directly? No, you cannot. Yeah, edit it. Let's see what came in. I think it should come as it is. Click on the first
For a
one. That
selected record,
yeah, that's page 22.
get a record,
That's correct.
environment name,
Coming, yeah, coming all global. Yeah, and then the email goes to me with these two. Okay.
how do I run this? Flow checker,
Now, no, you can't. Again, click
test.
on those four dots on the right. Oh, sorry, left hand side, left corner. Is there a business central there? All apps. If you click on all apps, there should be a business central. Okay.
Mm, business center. Search. No,
No, in this
but
domain you don't have.
this business central is on my domain.
Okay,
No,
let's.
one minute, 1 minute. This is production for terms. This is on another domain.
Yeah.
Now, how do I get to my domain?
Okay. You should be
Mm,
able to see it on four dots there. There should be an option for business central there. What is this Dynamics 365? That's FNO?
yeah, it must be FNO. I don't know what this is.
No, this is
No,
not.
this
Okay,
must be
let me check.
something old.
Let me check at my end. I'm pretty sure you will be able to navigate to that environment.
Oh.
Oh,
Maybe my CDX environment got lost. So what I will try, well, I will try to create if something
I
has been
should be.
created
Yeah,
here.
I'm able to see Business Central when I'm there on my CDX with the Power Automate. When I click on those dots there, four dots, I'm able to see the Business Central icon there.
But I will keep on trying. Let me
Uh,
see if
yeah.
I
So
can
in
resolve this
summary,
mystery.
when your customer imports the solution in their Power Automate, and if you ship an extension, and again, it's a need. It's not mandatory to ship an extension as we were talking about. It's just if you want to place some actions in different windows or different pages in Business Central, then you also ship the extension with it. And that way, both of these will be able to showcase those Power Automate flows deployed on your customer environment as you go through. As I was saying, in a package, you can have one or more um flows added in this. So when you're building it as a library of your flows that you're building, always try to build it in the solutions area of Power Automate, not in just the flow areas. And as it's saying, you can have different things. You can have like this is a cloud flow. If I add a new flow, it'll start understanding that all that comes as part of one single solution from this customer, from this partner, or from this developer. So this is the way what Microsoft suggests to ship out your Power Automate solution rather than going at your customer side or to their Power Automate environment and then creating flows manually, which wastes time for sure. Plus, is of no use if you have to repeat that activity for 10 different customers. So solutions is your friend, as we were talking about, and then you can define like in Business Central, there are also prefixes. So if you see when I open this, all my connection string would be prefixed with my name on this or my prefix on this. So you can also have so that it doesn't get overlapped with somebody else's name in Power Automate. You can also utilize. I'm pretty sure every company have their own prefix. Utilize that prefix so that the project connection string names are attached with the prefix and they don't get overlap when somebody else creates the same package for a customer. Now, I had one more thing. I have one question to ask, which I'm not able to find out. I'll have to think about it. Otherwise, I saw this action open app source, and this is not again Business Central app source. It's a Power Platform app source. So how you build a app for Power Platform is my question. And I'm not talking about Power BI. I know how do you do for Power BI, but like this one. Is there a way to sell these? You
So
think about
these
it.
are extensions. So some of them will be for CRM, like this one you are saying, and these are basically common. So some are for Power BI, as after the Microsoft Corporation it shows where it will work, which application.
Yeah, but if I want this, let's say, right? It is free, but it is a Power Automate solution and a Power App solution. But then
Yes,
the question is, can I build some Power Automate flows and sell them on App Source?
yes, I can. We can. But you can list them on marketplace.
Yeah, that's nice. Because I guess at the end of the day, that's what the intention should be, right? If you come up with the idea that is unique, you would like to sell it on App Source, and then if there is a Power Platform App Source, why not build it for there? Because there are certain things in Business Central, and I'm thinking or saying talking about just Business Central because that's what we all belong from, that are easier to be done on Power Automate, and if you do that, then you should be selling it rather than giving it to your customers, which is surely a thing. But if you publish it on App Source, then it goes as it is for your customers. So like one is from RSM, grant management. And these all are I filtered what? I didn't filter Business Central. Oh, I did filter Power Automate and no, I can't do that. Okay. So I'm doing Power Automate filter. So that means there are ways to create apps more or less if you think from the Business Central as a Business Central developer. Like you create apps, you can also create flows and sell them. There are not many as of today. I'm pretty sure nothing for Business Central. I'm not sure, but let's search for it because I can be completely wrong on this. They don't have a search. Okay. Okay, expense report app. Hmm. Uh, Inventory management app. Infosys. Wow. Travel expense app. Okay, what this does? Report developed by Microsoft platform. Oh, this is SharePoint. This is not Business Central. That's what I was thinking. Inventory management app. I don't think it links to Business Central, but then this is a Automate plus Power Apps, and this is travel expense. Again, this is not going to Business Central, but I guess that's where I started thinking that if you can solve some Business Central problems using Power Automate, then that is also something that I think you can sell on AppSource as it is. You don't have to kind of reinvent the wheel every time. You can actually publish that as a solution on Power Apps App Source, and then let the customer buy it if that's needed. So does that make sense? I guess I'll have to dig a little bit deep about. I know a little bit about how you publish a Business Central app, but I'm a little bit curious how you actually publish a Power Automate app now. Is it the zip file that we just downloaded? Is that what we send them, or is there something else that will require to be sent when you build these Power Apps app? And Abhinav, the same rule applies when you build Power Apps or Power Automate or Power BI, and you have to sell them. The same app source is used for all three of them.
Right.
But yeah, let's think about how you package it and bundle it. If I learned it, I'll surely we'll surely talk about it next week. Otherwise, if anybody has any suggestions, drop me an email or put me chat or say it here, and we'll try to cover that next week.
Okay.
Okay, so if nothing else, then enjoy your Sunday, and we'll see you next
Yeah,
week.
if you can stay for a little bit, I will share my
Not problem.
screen.
Not problem. Let's wait.
So I
Okay. Should I stop
yeah,
the recording?
yeah. So I
Okay.
just bought a subscription of this Office
Okay.
365.
Okay. It's okay if I keep it on, right? The recording.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Let's have a look on that then. Okay. So that just creates a new connection on your Power Apps section. Let's get created.
So this is done.
Yep.
What next? Should I go to Business Central?
Uh, you deployed that, right?
Yeah, I deployed. No, not yet.
Okay.
I have
Okay.
to import.
Yeah. Mhm. Currently importing. It says on the top ribbon. It's pretty small.
Hmm.
They should have a different color or something for that, so that at least
It's
people know that something is happening. Okay, yeah, because once this gets deployed, it should come to your Business Central on your customer card as it is, stating that you should be able to run it now.
yeah, here
Yes,
it
it's here.
is.
Now let's go to Business Central.
Hasn't been run. Okay. Do I have to refresh?
No, let's try that because that's what I would like to look at.
Yes.
But we should not refresh this. Let's refresh it.
Let's close this. Open a new one. Business Central. So there are one production and three sandbox. Will it get deployed to all?
Yes, unless you have disabled it. Okay, now it's loading. It's refreshing now. No, it didn't. Why?
Power Automate.
Let's do a
Should
managed
I go
flow.
to
Oh, here it is. I see it now. Solution demo.
solution demo? Yeah.
Yeah, let's click on it. I should get an email. Let me, once you have sent it, let me, oh, you have done it. I haven't received it yet, but I'll share my screen. That if everything looks good, I should get an email in
No,
that.
no,
Oh,
no, no, no.
oh,
There's
it
an
failed.
error.
No,
Yeah. The
what happened?
caller object shared
Yes,
logic flows cannot be used to activate this flow
either because this is not a valid
because
connection or it's not a connection that access permission. Either replace the connection with a valid connection. You can access the connection. Connection is shared with you on the context of flow. Okay, let's cancel this. I don't know what's happening
uh,
here. Go to the same action and do a manage flow. Automate, Power Automate, manage flows. You should see that flow here. You don't. Says nothing. Oh, it's in the solution. Let's go to the solution once. Imported successfully. Okay, let's open that one. And on the top ribbon, is there
publish
something? Is it? Do we have to? Okay, let's
status
try
off.
that. Publish.
What's the status? Why the status is off? Why the status is off?
Edit Dynamics 365. No, the status is also off at my end. That's okay. There's something else, I
Okay.
guess.
So where should I go?
Uh, mm, just yeah, keep that on wherever your cursor is. Click on the edit on the top. Is there a way to? What it says? What did it say?
No.
Oh, nothing here. Okay. Let's close this and let's go to the advanced on the top. Let's see, is there anything? Okay.
I can increase the font.
Let's uncheck this action that you have, that item. Publish. Let's do publish all customization. What does that do? Will that deploy? Because I didn't have two instances, so I did try deploying it on my own environment, but that doesn't make any sense. You're exporting from there and again you're importing there. So that makes no sense. But when it was visible on Business Central, that means it was available in here.
Published
Okay,
successfully.
let's
And now
try back.
do a refresh.
Yeah, just do a refresh. Let's see that. Let's get into customers. Three dots. Automate. Load it. Solution demo. Okay. Hmm. To shared logic cannot be activated to flow either because it's not a valid connection because it's not connected to your access permission for.
Let me see. Yeah, I'm with the right ID.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, otherwise it'll not show it, even show it to you here. That's, I guess when it is showing you, that means it should be what it cannot. Okay, I'll have to create one more environment and then test it out.
If you need, I can create one user for you on this.
Yeah, let's see.
And you can
I'll
test.
ping you otherwise. Yeah, I guess I
Fine.
can find one environment somewhere.
Okay.
Okay. But yeah, this is important at least to understand from that perspective of how
Yeah.
you actually share solutions with your customer, because at the end of the day, like we would like to store our source code in our source control. In the same way, our Power Automates should also be saved in our development environments, but then we should be able to share based on the need of customer as they are required. Okay, so it was fun. Didn't reach where we wanted, but I'm pretty sure I'll do some checks and balances and we'll let you know how it goes.
Fine, great. That's great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend,
Thank
guys.
you.
Bye.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks, man. Bye.
Saurabh, I've got a request.
Just give
Ah.
me a minute. I'll just stop